All right, so for weekly chemical check, we're gonna check the pH, the alkalinity, and the chlorine. You always wanna rinse the receptacle out at least 3 times, so you're not testing water from the last pool. So we're gonna check the chlorine first. There's several different test kits you can use. This is the Taylor test kit. This is the one that I like. So the chlorine level is about a 5, the pH is about a 7-8. So we're going to add some muriatic acid to drop the pH. We're going to try to get it down to about a 7.6. The reason we want to keep it on the lower end, the higher it is, it'll accelerate the scaling that you'll see on the tile. So you want to keep it on the lower end, but within range, because anything below 7.0, the water is considered corrosive. So I don't like to go below 7.3, but 7.5, 7.6, ideal. So this test is for the alkalinity. The alkalinity is probably the most important part of the chemistry for the plaster. I'll explain that in a minute. So the alkalinity is about 110 parts per million, which is perfect because the range is 80 to 120. The chemistry is very important. A lot of people have the misconception you're just trying to keep the water crystal clear. But your plaster is porous. So if you have bad water, you're going to have bad plaster. So the alkalinity, if it gets too low, it can and will damage the plaster. And that's probably the most overlooked part of the chemistry, where most people, they'll just test the chlorine and the pH and they'll stop there rather than dunk it in again and do the next test. If it gets too low, sodium bicarbonate, literally baking soda, put a couple cups in it, it'll bring it back up. If it's too high, you use muriatic acid. But unlike when you're trying to adjust the pH, you don't walk around with it. You stand in one spot, preferably the deep end, pour it in a straight column, and that will only adjust the alkalinity. Where a lot of people get into trouble is they don't realize that, and they'll just test their pH and they'll see, oh, my pH is high, so they'll take their acid and they'll just start dumping it in the pool. They'll test it in a couple days, pH is still going to show high, they're going to dump more acid in, they're going to be pouring it in one spot, not realizing the reason the pH is still high is because they're actually adjusting their alkalinity. And they're not even realizing it. If that alkalinity stays low for a very long period of time, it can and will damage the plaster.
Anything else I need to know?
Nope.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.